Carmiel, Beit Jan,
Safed City,
Rosh Pina, Katrin,
Safed Akbara, Safed North Kinneret,
Dmeden, Yaad, Sha'al, Be'ina, Lavon, Tzivon, Rihania, Sde Meron School, Zichron Yaakov, Yoknam Ilit, Migdal Ha'em.
Test. There we go. Test. There we go. All right, can you hear me? All right, now you should be able to hear me now. I'm on here right now. Type yes if you can hear me. Because I had to go through and reset all my settings for YouTube. I'm gonna sit here because I can be on YouTube for 12 hours straight. I can get it connected to Facebook as well, but I forgot to get it connected. I'm gonna sit here because I can be on. You have to be a subscriber. Because I don't need a bunch of people getting on here and spamming it. All right, I'll change the duration of it. Once you hit subscribe, it automatically lets you type in the chat box. that. Kind of blew my eardrums out. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Once you hit subscribe, you're immediately able to type in the chat box. I usually use this for World of Warcraft, but I'm not playing the game right now. Take this volume real quick. Yes.
What do you do?
I'm playing on my microphone and chatting. You should be in bed. You're not. Yes.
What do you do?
I'm playing on my microphone and chatting. You should be in bed. Okay, turn the microphone up. I think when I put the microphone up, it turned the volume down on the switch by accident. Yes.
What do you do?
I'm playing on the microphone and chatting. You should be in bed. Okay, turn the microphone up. I think when I wondering why I was echoing. It turned the volume down on the switch by accident. Yes. Sorry about that. My phone was on. I wanted to double check, make sure everything was set right. Remember, I can be on here for 12 hours on YouTube. I can do Facebook, but I have to completely log out of software and connect it with YouTube and Facebook. But I don't want to do that and everybody upset. I got my chat to work. Awesome, Kevin. I had to go through and set the settings on it. like I said, when you subscribe, it needs to be set like that because I don't really need to. All the main YouTubers, they get on there and they set it like that so that we don't get spamming going on. That's the horrifying thing. Well, I'm on vacation this week, so it's gotten better. How have you been doing, Kevin? Get my water. Took me a few minutes to get the video settings set on that, on the screen that you're looking at. Excuse me. Doing great. What do you think about the recent news? Oh, about the 7 parks being sold to EPR Properties? Well, I mean, the company's in debt. They got to get out of it somehow. And I was shocked to know that they were going to get rid of Six Flags St. Louis. That's what threw me off when I actually read it, and I was like, "Why? That's the third original park of the original Six Flags," and I was like, "Why would they get rid of that?" Because Six Flags St. Louis sits in a major, well, it's not really a major population. I guess you could. It's bigger than the Oklahoma City metro, but I mean, I guess that's what it is. They got to do something. I'm just wondering if our parks are gonna be next. Not really sold, but the lease itself. The 5 parks. What are they? Let's see, Frontier City, Hurricane Harbor, Splashtown down in Houston, Darien Lake, and one out in Phoenix. I mean, the good thing about if we did go to another another company, to me, we would get rides, but my fear is, are they going to take care of the park infrastructure? That's my fear. Because you and I know that when we went to Premier, we were getting the rides, but they weren't repairing the park. That was the problem. And same with Hurricane Whitewater Bay. My kids still call it Whitewater Bay. So that's the only fear I have. Because I don't want to go in there again when when you go to Renegade Rapids and you get in the queue line and there's gum sticking all over the wall and nobody got in there and cleaned it up. That was just nasty and gross. That's the only fear I have, other than getting some good rides. Yeah, we do need rides badly. They keep taking them out and not replacing them. But at least they're repairing the park. Yeah, Hurricane Harbor, Phoenix. Oops. Um, yeah, but you and I know that in order to increase the attendance, a lot of people I talk to, they won't go until they add rides. That's what everybody, even the ones down here I haven't talked to, they said they got to add rides. We're tired of going to the park and having the same boring rides. And I keep telling them, well, there's other things to do, and and they just keep telling me no. So I mean, I can't make them go to the park. That's the only downside to it. You know, each year we buy season passes for it to support the park. I don't know who do you even know who the park president, not park president, the regional general manager is? Is it Jeffrey Siebert, or is it somebody else out of Chicago or something? Because I thought we were at the Texas region. Yeah. It's hard to get it to grow, especially when you don't have anything. Well, I don't mean it in a bad way. We don't have enough to offer the guest as in rides. I mean, the maintenance department does a damn good job by keeping the rides up and running for what we have, but the problem is there's not enough. Somebody else, I think it's based out of Chicago. It's too bad he's not our regional manager, because he would do wonders for the park, and it might be too much on him unless they got rid of those just where he can do that. I don't know, but I know they're not going to bring Holiday in the Park back because there's not enough. That they won't. I don't know if it's not enough or they didn't advertise it correctly. I do know several people that live south of Ardmore. They don't get advertisements for Frontier City. They get it for Six Flags Over Texas. So my brother went by over Texas the other day. Said the crane was down. I don't know if he meant it was down and completely gone, or if it's just completely down. And he and I did talk. He said people down there want to come up here to go to Frontier City. He said, but they don't have enough. There's not enough rides up here to please them. He said right now they'll come up here for Fright Fest. He said they're glad that
they could use the regional parks down here, like the Six Flags season pass that they had when we first went back to the company. Take advantage of the upcoming world of travelers who come to. Well, the Olympics they're creeping up on us fast. They're going to have to do something. They've got to really take advantage of that. I don't know if what they're going to do. I do know that interview that Karen Burke had with Tulsa World. You have to buy the newspaper, the subscription, and all that in order to read it. But he stated he was asked about selling parks and selling leases and whatnot, and he said the company that runs the park has the right to add and remove rides, dishes, silverware, plumbing, electrical, anything of that nature. They just don't have the rights to the property itself. See, what did he? It's Wild West Waterworks. Remember, that used to be the parking lot for the employees, and he stated that he spent, he paid, what was it, almost $1.2 million for Wild West Waterworks to be installed. So he sold the lease completely with that. This year's a little late. Oh, Route 66, the 100th anniversary. Well, I don't know if they're going to be traveling now. Well, that gasoline price is up for right now. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. We've also got the Thunder, which is the arena is going to be opening up soon, or actually the construction's already started. So, I mean, the park's sitting where it needs to be sitting at. I don't know how O'Connor's doing, but I figured that would give them a run, give the park a run for their money, and Six Flags would see that, and they would start pumping in some rides and whatnot. But I guess that didn't work very well for them, or the way they wanted it to be. Yeah, 2027. Yeah, the river sport and the softball competition for the Olympics. Yeah. I don't know if I can do this right. Let me see if I can't do this. Videos, photos. What did I do with the photo? There's the photo. There's the what? Excuse me. There's quick draw. Let me shrink the video. Oop, what did I just do? Oh, there it is. There, I made the video smaller, and that's quick draw. That's credit to the park. They put it on Facebook. I know. Everybody looked at that and they thought it was a shop of some sort. I said, nope, that's quick draw. They took the mountain down. You got to remember that mountain has been there. I think Tom told me it's been there since the park opened, or right about in that area, that time frame. I thought they said they were going to have it worked on and make it a better experience for us guests, which would be nice. Need to sandblast the Silver Bullet and repaint it, because every time I walk by it I can start seeing the original faded out blue and red. Yeah, they had a lot of chicken wire and nothing but lumber. think that's how that, one reason why that, I guess it had snakes in it or something. It burnt down to the ground. But you're talking about back in the early 60s? Early 60s. It was probably 5 or 6 years before I was born. I think it's on. I think that other photo I have is on my old other hard drive or SSD that went out. I had to get another one. Yep, it might be. I think I saved it. Hovington Park paint silver bullet, especially this year. Oh, the ACE event, yeah. Coach is finally going to get an ACE historical marker. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. I know that they did that to the Wildcat a couple of years back. I'm not sure which one's really older, the Diamondback or the Silver Bullet. I think the Silver Bullet might be a couple of years older. Yeah, because Silver Bullet got painted, what was it, 2007 or 8? That was almost 10 years ago. The Diamondback probably got about the same time. But they were painted before Six Flags took over the park again. I think that was under Premier Parks. It was under either Premier Parks or what was that company? Park F7 or something like that. drove around the park a couple of weeks ago and was noticing the rides along the service road were looking rough, except the boat. Oh, Prairie Schooner. It was painted last year. I guess I missed it when I walked by the park last year. I know they put a mermaid out in front of it. I have no idea why they put a mermaid out there in front of the boat. That don't have anything to do with Frontier City or the Wild West itself. Maybe it was something that they just wanted to do just to have fun with, I guess. I don't know. That just that just blew my mind when I saw that mermaid out top of in front of it. That needed to be over at Hurricane Harbor. Wish they'd get the train back up and running. Because that walking is about to eat me alive. I mean, I walk enough at work as it is. Then I go to the park and then I have to walk all over the park. God forbid if I have to go down to Six Flags Over Texas, it'd be that's three times the size. I'm just wondering what they're going to do with the old eruption pad. Excuse me. Because I don't remember who it was I asked last. They said they were going to leave the old housing there, repair it sometime in the future, soon. The tank itself is still there from the old eruption, and they said they were going to leave that there. They had plans for it, but that's past tense. They had plans for it. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to get anything from Six Flags America, because there's a vlogger that came on and he flew over the park, a drone. He went and bought him a drone, flew over the park to see what was going on. The only ride that was being removed was the Wild Mouse. And I figured, well, we might get the Wild Mouse and we might get that Sky Screamer. But the only downside to putting a Sky Screamer top right there is, you know how our winds are. You'd almost have to shut it down because it would fling the seats all over the place. But then again, I mean, look at over Texas, the Texas Sky Screamer. I mean, that's 400 feet in the air. They don't hardly shut it down. Even when it's windy, they don't really shut it down much. So I don't see a reason why they can't put a Sky Screamer top in that spot, because it's designed for that. I really wish that when Gary Story was alive and he decided to add Eruption in there, I wished he would have put a shorter S&S launch tower there instead of the slingshot ride. But I mean, nobody complained about it, and I didn't complain about it. that was his choice to add it. And now, nothing there. It looks kind of bland, dull type. So yeah, they had talked about that. That was a long time ago. That was when Premier Parks was running it. Someone said they were going to try to put a water coaster there to interact with the Wildcat and let it go on into Wild West Waterworks itself. And someone else said that they thought about putting a tornado type ride in that area. Then that got scrapped. I'm just wondering if they're going to keep those buildings over there in the amphitheater, because they don't even use the amphitheater. I think the last time I seen them use the amphitheater was for some high school event. Well, I wish they would too, but I think they use our group instead of posting so much. They don't post enough on their YouTube channel. They don't even use their YouTube channel at all. They don't even hardly get on their Facebook. I think they'll just have somebody go around and take quick videos of it and upload it, and that's it. You see all these other parks using their YouTube channel, because I'm subscribed to both of them. They actually got 2 YouTube channels. They don't even use both of them. They don't use none of them. They got that one that was when they were the Premier Parks, and they got the new one when they had last time they put anything up was when Holiday in the Park was happening, and that was the last time they ever used it. I mean, I got this. Oh, that's wrong. I'm on the wrong one. Let me see. Where's it at? I know I got it. There it is. Oh, that's too big. It's still too big. Try to make where everybody can sit. How I got the guest survey, and hardly anybody else did, if they even got it. And that was last year, October. No, it wasn't. When was it? No, it was before Fright Fest happened. How I got that is, and nobody else got it, is way beyond me. Because my son said he got one, but he didn't think much of it and deleted it. I got it, and I submitted all the information I could send to him. what good does that do if you're going to give it to very, very few people when you should have sent it out to everybody that's got memberships and season passes? Oh, really? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be there opening day or not. I haven't made a decision on that yet. I know he likes vloggers. That's what I was told. But who knows? Because if he talks to me, I'm going to tell him there's 60 acres of undeveloped land over there. You've got an entire park that you're shutting down. You already shut down. Those rides will fit in that area. Your attendance will dramatically increase here, and God help the employees because they won't be able to keep up. That's my take on it. You got like 5 rides out there that can be transferred immediately out here, and then we got the Olympics coming in. The Thunder's on the verge of winning their second championship. I mean, you can't miss out on anything like that. But that's our view. But it's called return on investment. I mean, it would cost money to relocate them, but you don't have to buy the whole ride. You just pay for the relocation of it, footers, and the installation of it. Because you're not buying the rides, you're just relocating them from one park to the other. The trains, I don't know if they've been sent to other parks up there other than Vekoma SLC. That was sent to, what park was they sent to? I can't remember. Canada's Wonderland or something like that. Well, I hope if he does come, he'll walk every inch of the park, including the undeveloped land, to where he gets the idea that, we're not one of the bigger parks, quote unquote, that's close to a major metropolitan area, but it's too far out of a major metropolitan area. We're sitting in the city. Our park's sitting right there in the city limits itself. Similar to Over Texas and Fiesta Texas, we're sitting right there to where he understands, hey, I'm not going to be on I-35 when the Olympics arrive. You can forget that. So, but he needs to understand that when you install something up there and keep the park running, that park would be packed. I know a lot of vloggers put Frontier City down. I don't know why. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't get involved in none of their stuff anymore. I just, like you and I do, I would say I wish that they would look heavy into the park itself. Well, they don't have to add a $40 million coaster. I mean, you only need to add a $10 million ride that will last for quite a while, several years or probably decades, and make it can be exciting. And the park's attendance would dramatically increase instead of continuously doing something with the food product all the time. Because every time I go there, they're doing something to the food. To me, leave the food alone. It's fine. Of course, make it better, but don't add a ton of things to the food. You need rides in order to get people into that park. In my view, a major national one calls Frontier City his home. He only visits during Fright Fest or a few times during the season. I don't know who that is. I don't keep up with much of the other vloggers anymore, because every time I try to see what kind of information there is, it's always putting Frontier City down. It's like, now look what's going on. You're putting these parks down. Now they're worried about the parks getting sold off, parks getting closed, and it's like, well, now look what happened. That's why I don't bother with these other vloggers anymore. Yeah, be consistent with the food options. They want to, on the food part, it's like they want to keep adding to it. I really don't need to add to it. And I know some people in our group chat, they always say the park's run down and everything. You and I put photos up there of what they're doing to the park, and I'm like, have you not seen the photos? I mean, they do that all the time. I just think to myself, how come they don't look at the photos? I guess most of them don't look. But that's all the other guests that don't come to the park enough, like you and I do. We see changes they have done drastic changes in the past 5 years. They've ripped up the pathway right there at the entrance, which I know that cost a pretty penny for the park, and probably for the company as well. Now they're tearing down the building of Quick Draw. And people were upset about that, and I just keep thinking to myself, that building's old. It's in bad shape. They've got to do something with it. Well, the 7 parks are probably going to be in good hands, but I'm kind of leery on are they going to maintain the infrastructure of the parks? Because I keep hearing now that they're going to do something with the St. Louis Park. Or add a ride or something, some major ride up there. That's fine, but if it's what it used to be, they'll add a ride and forget about repairing the park. We're proof. They sold it for They sold all 7 of them for $331 million. They entertained approximately 4.5 million guests. That's low. That's real low. Worlds of Fun. Excuse me. Go back here. Valley Fair, Worlds of Fun, Michigan's Adventure, Sutterbond and Galveston, St. Louis, and The Great Escape. Oh, and La Ronde. How did they get out of that lease of LaRonde? That's like a 50-year lease. I don't know. I keep hearing bad things about LaRonde. They're worse than probably the whole chain is. That's what I keep hearing. I've never been up there. Matter of fact, I've never been to Canada, period, so I wouldn't know what the park looks like, is ran like, or anything like that. They generated approximately $260 million in net revenue, and approximately $45 million in adjusted EBITDA. Cash proceeds after taxes and transaction expenses will be used to pay down debt on an after-tax basis. Net proceeds are expected to be slightly beneficial to the company's leverage ratio. I have a CEO, John Riley. Since joining the company, I have been clear that Six Flags earnings power had been under-realized. This transaction will simplify our portfolio, strengthen our balance sheet, and position us to execute with greater clarity and discipline. He continued by focusing our resources on the parks that we believe have the highest growth potential. Maybe he's talking about Frontier City included. I don't know. We expect to drive operating leverage, expand margins, and accelerate our cash flow generation. Enchanted Parks is who's taken over the lease of those 7 parks at the end of this 2026 season. They can use all their benefits on their season pass for the remaining of the 2026 season. Six Flags said it plans to operate its remaining collection of 34 parks across 23 locations in North America. The transaction is expected to close by the end of the first or beginning of the second quarter, subject to the satisfaction of certain closing conditions and receipt of third-party approvals. That's pretty much it. Where am I at? There I am. Be considered of it. Airtime Thrills was a national blogger. Excuse me. Oh yeah, him. Yeah. I don't really watch much of his stuff. I mean, it's about other parks that I don't care too much about. I'll never go to them. I've gone to Over Texas. I've even never been to Fiesta, Texas. Even when I lived down there, I never went to Fiesta, Texas, because Over Texas was the main park. Of course, Frontier City. I've been to St. Louis once, but that was when it was Six Flags Mid-America. Because back then there was only 3 Six Flags theme parks, and it was Six Flags Over Texas, Six Flags Over Georgia, and then Six Flags Mid-America, which later became Six Flags St. Louis. And I've never been to Six Flags Over Georgia. So that's about the only park I've really ever been to. So I couldn't tell you what's going on with those other parks. Other than what people post online, videos and photos and whatnot, vlogging about it. So I couldn't tell you what those parks actually ran like. A lot of vloggers that I read, they want them to be tip-top perfect shape, some $40 to $50 million massive coaster being built. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I mean, they might be in there. Why they keep the Oklahoma parks? Or are they not done? Or renegotiating those agreements? I don't know. Kevin. From what I was understanding, the way that lease was, this lease agreement works in favor of Six Flags with all 5 of the properties. That's the way I was understanding the what you call it, in the notes and in part of the lease. Because Karen Burke was asked about that, and he said it works in favor of the management company that manages whatever park it is. He said that's why we were able to add and remove whatever they needed to keep the guests satisfied, like they did with the Rolling Thunder, which used to be Brain Drain, Wild West Waterworks. Yeah, all the way up to, what was it, 2035 or 2030, 2032? No, it wasn't. It was an 18-year lease agreement, not a 30-year. I had it. I don't know where it's at now. I had the information on it. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was a 30-year. I think it was like an 18 to 20-year lease agreement. They can rename the park anytime they want, whatever they wanted to. They could rename it Six Flags Frontier City, Six Flags Over Oklahoma, Six Flags Over Oklahoma City. Whatever they wanted to do, they can take out whatever rides they wanted to, but they had to replace those rides. What was it? Equal or greater value. That's what's in their lease agreement, with equal or greater value. So, in other words, if they wanted to get rid of Diamondback, they had to put in something that with equal or greater value. Because Lance over at Screamscape, he and I had emailed each other back and forth, and I sent him the link, but he said I don't have a subscription, but he said he understood it now. He says apparently each company has their own different lease agreements. He says he did not know that they could add something with equal or greater value. He said he did not know EPR properties would allow that, but apparently they do. As for the Nightmare Mine, I don't know who took it out and scrapped it. I don't know if it was Six Flags that did that. I don't know if Premier Parks did that, or Park F7 or whatever that company was. I don't know who did that. I think it was Premier Parks that did that. Removed it and scrapped it. No, it was Six Flags, because it was Trevor Leonard. I'm just curious on what's happening behind the scenes, as in what maintenance is doing. Is that what you're asking? I guess I would be curious too to see what's happening behind in the park. See. Oop, I don't want to do that. Nightmare Coaster was dangerous to operate. It was Premier Parks who removed it in 2009. Oh, I think the last year it actually operated was 2004, because that's when maintenance took that photo for me with an old camera. Luckily, I kept that photo because they were in there trying to get it to operate that time. I remember because I was standing right there. Of course, none of the maintenance crew from then is in the park now. I asked him, I said, are they going to get it up and running? He said, no. What was it? He said, no, they're going to have to take it out, and because something about the braking system would not operate. They couldn't find, they thought they had the part for it. They ordered the part, and it was the totally wrong kind of whatever part it was they needed for the braking system is what I was understanding. And I think it was 2007 when they completely shut it down. Or not 2004, because it was in the summertime. I remember standing there because it was hot. And I asked him if I get a picture of it, and that's when he went in there and took the photo of the outside of it, of the entrance, and took me those 2 photos, or that one, of the track itself right there. I think 07 is when they took it out and scrapped it. Because I briefly, and I mean briefly, chatted with Gary Story, and he was a calm, quiet individual. Really kept to himself, but he was real nice. He asked me if I was running a website or something, and I told him yes, and I told him what the name of it was. He goes, wow, I didn't even know we had a fan site. And I said, yep. I said, sure do. I said, I just wish I had more older park photos to share with the guests and visitors. And that's why he said, well, if you got a camera, let me borrow it real quick and I'll be right back. And he borrowed my camera, and that's when he came back and 20 some odd shots of those images that I gave, that I showed everyone. And that was the only time only time I ever visited with him. Oh, I know why I had to go in there. It's because my season pass was not working right, and I had to go in the office and have them reset my the barcode. They put the wrong number on there in the system, and then I heard him talking to somebody back there, saying something. They've got the plans worked out for the park, the expansion plans worked out for the park, but I just barely caught that. But you're talking about 2004 when he was fixing to I guess that's when he was fixing to retire. But he said he had plans to expand the park over into the boneyard at that time. And then come to find out, I did not know enough about it, and he was the COO of Six Flags. Karen Burke was the CEO. what Gary Story wanted, Karen Burke would go get the funding for it. That's why we got all those rides. He went and bought. I get the way I was reading it. He went. Karen Burke went and went and got the loans. Yeah, he retired from the company. His diabetes. He tried to make a comeback with the new Premier Parks, and of course his health deteriorated after that. Then that's when he passed away. But I don't understand how this new Six Flags can't operate 42 parks when Gary Story operated 39 parks. I never understood that. But after reading, Gary Story had started in the theme park business when he was 16, and that's all he knew. He knew which parks needed what in order to increase the attendance. And when I chatted with a lot of the employees and two of the maintenance personnel that in 04 about why the company spent, what was it, almost $4 million, right at $4 million for eruption. They said the investors did not want to do that, and Gary Story said that Gary Story had proved the investors wrong. That if you add family thrill rides to certain parks and the bigger thrill rides to the bigger parks, your attendance would increase. And he proved everybody wrong. So I don't understand how all these other CEOs are not able to control these companies like he did. I never understood that. I mean, he had three parks in, was it 3 parks? 2 or 3 parks in Europe. Six Flags Belgium or something like that. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. And I know he disagreed with Karen Burke about Astroworld. He did not think about didn't think selling Astroworld like that was a good idea. He thought about wanting to sell these other bigger parks overseas, is what he was wanting to do, to get out of debt. But Karen Burke was the only one running the company, and that's what makes me fear the most about these 7 properties that he took over. Is he going to stick with what he does the best, as in getting rides in those parks? I mean, look at ours. We got rides, but he forgot about repairing the park. I mean, time, I guess we'll find out next year. Because I'm still kind of wondering if they're going to do the same thing with ours by selling the lease to, I don't know, Premier Parks or this new Enchanted Parks or Hershend. But the problem with that is, are they going to have the funding to purchase 5 properties? Purchase 5 property leases. That's the catch. Schlitterbahn and Splashtown. Yeah, but then you got to look at Six Flags St. Louis and World of Fun, both of them in Missouri. Oop, wrong button. Excuse me. I don't know, because that's what kind of throws me off, is if they're gonna sell Schlitterbahn and Galveston and not the Splashtown Park, then why did they sell both the Missouri parks at the same time? Magic Mountain and Knott's are, well, you're talking about the second largest TV market too, so I don't know if they're going to get rid of that. I think they were afraid that they had two giant parks and the market's not big enough to support both of them. That would be like oversaturating the market. It's like sports teams. Look at Buffalo. They're a lot smaller market than we are. They've got NHL and NFL. It's the same situation. I guess that would be like having two theme parks here, then adding an NFL team here, then a Major League Baseball team and an NHL team, along with the Thunder of the NBA. You would oversaturate the market. There would not enough to go around. So maybe that's what they're thinking. That's my guess. I don't know who said it, but it was an owner, may have been Robbie Bell. I don't remember. I think he said it the best, although I don't agree with what he did. He said it the best. He said you have to go by the market size of how big the park needs to be, rather than what everybody wants it to be. Well, there 14 million people in the LA Metro? But that's they can handle it. I don't think you'd want to do that here. It's like Universal down there in Frisco. I was kind of iffy on that, because yeah, We got to split that market up. I really do hope that he does show up at the park so that he can see that we don't have the competition. Now, naturally, if Bales was still going on, operating up in Tulsa area somewhere, then we would probably have a better shot at getting more rides. But right now, it's kind of hard to see that, in my view, because we don't have it. We don't have any competition other than O'Connor. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Hope to God he doesn't show up and there's not anybody guest-wise that's not going to be there. Looking at the calendar, let's see, April 11th, 11 to 7. They're going back to their close on Tuesdays and Wednesdays during the summertime. I think that's their lightest days why they did that, and they don't want to open it up. October 31st is their last day, operating day. I mean, $55 for a season pass is, you really can't beat that. The memberships, you know what the memberships are. $7 a month for gold, $13 for prestige. Daily tickets are, they're not even on sale yet. It just says on sale soon. Special offers, bring a friend ticket is on sale soon. Group admission, $15 to $99 is $32. Birthday party packages is $51.99. Military and first responder tickets are on sale soon. And of course they're advertising for Tormentia Rampaging Run. So, I mean, hopefully they'll bring people into the park by getting those season passes. They did that last year, November the 1st, or was it November the 2nd? You know, they could do Holiday in the Park if they did it on the weekend and one day during the week, and end it before Christmas. That would work. but I don't see I don't see them doing that anytime soon. Well, if he... Yeah, I know. They didn't let it grow. I really don't know if it had a lot to do with COVID, because even when they ended it, COVID was ending. That, in my view, it was ending, and they didn't give it time to let it build back up. Because remember, 2 years straight they were doing it when COVID was still going on. Because the first year that you and I went, it was packed. After that, I didn't get a chance to go because COVID was kicking in, and I couldn't get back to the park. So I don't know if COVID, people were scared to go back to the park while COVID was still ongoing. It may not have been ongoing here, but it was still ongoing. I don't know if if that was the biggest case or not. The reason why they closed it or shut it down. I mean, they had the funding for it. A lot of people are still irritated because the park won't open it back up during holidays. I don't know if they don't have enough employees, because my daughter said that they didn't have, when she asked, they told her they did not have enough employees to run it. So, it could be a number of things. It could be that they did it and they were falling behind on trying to repair the park, the infrastructure. They didn't have time because it only gave them all of January and February to try and get something done. They're basically running out of time. I mean, it could be in a number of things. I don't know what else there is. I don't know what their stock is at. $16.05. That's low. That's way too low. Yeah, that's what my daughter said. They at that time there wasn't enough that we didn't have the employees, and a lot of these kids won't work at the park. If they do, they'll work for one season and that's it. And she said they had a lot of teenagers working there. She said, but most of the teenagers were too young. They didn't understand the concept of guest customer service is what it is. Even my mom said you've got to have people there that understands the meaning of customer service. I'm not saying that the park is bad at customer service. It's just some of the employees are teenagers and they don't understand the concept of customer service. It's like way back in my days, you go to a grocery store, you'd have a grocery sacker. I used to be a grocery sacker way back when I was when I was a teenager, able to go to work down in Irving. It was called customer service. And then when I briefly worked at Six Flags Over Texas, it was the same thing, customer service. I worked in the food section. The food court is what it's called. But I didn't like it because the reason why I didn't like it is because I was out in the heat all the time. I didn't get a chance to go inside and cool down. Yep, 15 to 16-year-olds. Yep, up to, if I can remember what it is, Friday nights and Saturday nights they can work as many hours as they want to, and they have to be off the clock by a certain time on Sundays. I think it's 10 by law. And they cannot get any more than, 15 hours a week? 15 or 16, 20 hours max is all they can get. Because of school. Summertime, they can add whatever they want to. I don't know if that's the laws up here in Oklahoma, but in Texas, during the summertime, they can get all the hours they want. So long as they're not in school. Like summer school or a trade. And if you hire senior citizens, they can work up to a certain amount of dollar because of their Social Security, or they get they don't get fined. It's penalized. Social Security will penalize them for going over their Social Security, the benefits, their pay. So the park's stuck between a rock and hard place. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because I don't have to worry about it. The management part, I don't have to worry about it because you can't be in school. High school, that is, working here. So it's totally different with theme parks. Frontier City they have a hard time keeping anybody there. And if you get someone, they're mothers, and then you have the issues of their kids. Their kids come first, so then they have to leave, and then it's a situation where I wouldn't want to be in again like that. I don't know how I have no idea how they use the international workers. They have totally different laws. So I don't even know what laws they have. I never had to worry about it. They had enough head count to cover someone operating one of the rides. Oh, that program, yeah. I don't think they hardly have it anymore. Actually, I don't think you'd want to have it with all the crap going on. Well, it's 11:15. I'm going to cut this one short. Been on here for 3 hours. So, we can do this again whenever everybody's just wanting on here, unless there's something more stuff y'all want to talk about. Well, I'm on vacation, so I don't have to worry about going to bed now. Okay. We can do this again tomorrow if anybody wants to. Just send me a message and we'll see if we can't get more people on here. Well, everyone have a good night, and we'll try this again tomorrow or the next day or whatever day anybody wants to. Have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.